If you struggle with getting out on a quick overnight or weekend camping trip and you don't know where things are or what even to bring in the first place, these are the 10 essential kitchen items that's gonna make it so that you can go car camping or overnight camping with your family smoothly and easily, taking out much of the frustration that has plagued me, us.
I used to pack and forget something every time, and when you forget something in your kitchen, it can really be a big downer when you get to the campsite. You don't have your fuel, you don't have your stove, especially when you are bringing kids along the way. So we've put together our ideal car camping kitchen and the 10 things that need to go into it so that you're able to get camping more often. Let's jump in.
This is a 1-bin tub for a quick car camping trip or overnight camping trip somewhere that's not backpack based. It's not your ultralight setup. It's also not your multi-day, multi-family, big exhaustive, rafting kitchen.
So the first item that you need to think about is how you're going to cook your food, right? This is your stove.
We chose this stove for our car camping kit because it is both the stove and the pot. Sometimes your fuel can live in here, plus a lighter. And this is your typical canister style stove, normally for backpacking, but it is ideal for car camping with a small family.
And as Adam gets that out to show you what is actually compacted here, we really switched to this because as a family of 4, we're just bringing more stuff all the time. We like this one because it fits in this box. We used to start with something a little bit bigger. In fact, I'll just get that out now. This is our first version of our car camping setup. This is a Eureka stove that Adam picked with very specific thoughts in mind. You want to talk about why you love this stove?
I love this stove for big multi-family, multi-day camping trips, whether that's river-based or kind of overlanding, kind of like big base camp style camping, because this stove is large for having the ability to boil 2 pots of water at the same time, a sauce and a pasta water. These dial fuel control knobs are able to get down to a low simmer easily, so you can do things like, delicate pancakes.
Don't burn the pancakes. That ruins pancakes for kids. Okay, so tell us about this stove and why you picked it.
This stove is pretty good lightweight stove with a ubiquitous fuel canister, at least in the lower 48. The pot that goes on top of it is a great pot for boiling either 2 hot cocos for kiddos, 1 big coffee for a mommy or a daddy. It also boils the water for rehydrating meals. It's not great to cook directly in, but if we're just going simple to be able to go out and camp more often, this is what we bring.
So the other part of your cooking system, right, is the pan or pot that you're going to use if you want to cook something else in. In our car camp kitchen, we also have a single saute pan. Now this has to be watched over this stove. It can be tippy, so that's one downside to having this and not having it on that big 2-burner stove, but we find that we just like the compactness of all of this.
All of this kit, both this pot, this stove, go to Goodwill to get something like this. They make a lot of really great titanium pots like this online, and you can find them on Amazon. Same with a little stove like this.
Okay, the next item in our 10 essentials list is your food prep items. What is the most important food you're going to prepare on your camping trip?
Coffee. I really enjoy an AeroPress. We have an AeroPress. Sometimes we bring it on our camping trips. I also really just like a good old-fashioned pour-over and cone system. This is the simplest, cheapest. You probably already have one. Put it in a box, take it with you.
So that's our preferred way to make coffee. The AeroPress is the other option. Other people like percolators, big systems kinds of things. Again, we're going for easy, packable, cheap. The next item is we have a good knife for chopping things up. We like this because it has its own sheath. This is really important, so this isn't floating around in your camp kitchen box.
Also, little known fact about this knife and its sheath, you could go and spend a lot of money and find this. I think I bought this knife at Goodwill, and I bought these sheaths online on Amazon, and you can get a kit of 6 sheaths for just different size knives.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
And then just a small cutting board. This seems like something you may not want to bring that you could cut off your list, but we found that it is so essential to have this here. You can even make this a little bit bigger in one of those foldable ones, those fall apart a lot easier. We like the hard ones. Okay, we love to cook, and so another item in our kit is a tiny spice box. So in our spice kit box, we have salt and pepper, naturally. Who doesn't? We've got nutritional yeast. This happens to be a fan favorite of our kids, kind of like a cheesy-ish topping that goes on top of everything. Highly recommended. And then just some garlic powder or curry powder, whatever it is that you use the most. You can just know that this is packed every time you go. If you use something up while you're out there, it's really helpful to replace it, replenish it right away before you basically finish unpacking for that trip.
Another big one is having an oil, fat to cook your food with. Really like these little bottles, have a little compact, lightweight thing for your cooking oils.
The last item in your food prep, and most people may not take one of these, but it is an actual table that you might want to bring with you. This is for those of us who like to car camp in dispersed camping sites, forest service lands, basically non-campgrounds where there's not a picnic table. Now, you can of course do all of your cooking on the ground. One thing that I have discovered with having young kids is that they do spill a lot more, and if you do have a table to put things on, for some reason it's just a lot more tidy. We use rolly tables. Sometimes we throw one in our car camping setup, sometimes we don't. So this is obviously not something we keep in our box, but a good thing to think about as to where you're going and if you might want a table.
The NRS blue rolly table is by far our favorite, just most compact, most durable.
Okay, before we dive into the next item, let's review because we're 5 elements into our 10 essential list. So the first item is your cook set. Second is your pots and pans. Third is coffee systems. Fourth is food prep, so that's cutting board and your knives. And the fifth is your spice kit. Now we're gonna go into the next item, which is your eating supplies, so your plates, bowls, utensils, and all of that. So these are the different ways that we bring those items with us.
So again, there's simplicity and a little bit of redundancy, but we're not trying to take everything with us. What I really like to have when out camping, and what I think works well for having little kids, is something that they can hold on to with 2 hands and has a tall enough lip. This happens to be kind of a deep, wide bowl that you can eat cereal out of. You can also put your burrito in, and it's your plate, it's your bowl, it's a one-stop shop. It's kind of a hard, durable plastic, and yeah, we have a set of 4 of these, great for car camping.
The other options that you might like are these collapsible bowls. This is a little bit more of like a lightweight backpacking style thing that we take on our backpacking trips. Maybe you like it for car camping. We like something just a little bit more durable. We can wash really easy. Another thing that I enjoy are these plates, and I love them, but quite honestly, it's just too big and wide for our car camping setup. But this is a great half bowl, half plate, although eating like cereal out of this might get kind of awkward. But our kids don't like this can tip on a lap while you're eating and nothing rolls off of it. That hot dog is not gonna go into the dirt. Oh God, that would be terrible.
For ultralight backpacking trips, we use titanium sporks and spoons, long-handled, but we leave those behind for when we're car camping. We don't bring those with us. Again, shout out to Goodwill. Go and find just some awesome utensils from Goodwill that you can put into kind of a durable silicone or plastic baggie. Make sure that they fit directly across and not needing to go diagonal. Just your basic forks, spoons, butter knives.
So you might have seen Adam open up this case. We think this is worth investing in. Any camp website is gonna have sort of like your utensils case. It's really nice when it all fits in one place, so you're not digging for the spatula and your forks, your pot holders, all kinds of things. So there's some other redundancy in here that we have. We've got some extra, just happen to have extra trash bags in here, a couple extra coffee filters. We've got a can opener. This is pretty big and bulky. You may not even need to use this if you're not bringing canned goods, but we keep it in here because it's just in the system. We've got these lightweight spatulas, kind of cooking things that actually came with this GSI Cook Camp kit a long time ago. Our kids love to cook things over the fire, including marshmallows, just about every time we go camping, especially car camping. So we have some skewers in here. We've got a cheese grater. We've got a pot holder. We even have another extra knife in here.
A little bit of a sponge for washing up after dinner.
So this is basically like your eating tools, your utensils, your plates, your bowls. So on our trip, we typically, bring... For mugs, for us, it's really your personal preference, whatever kind of camp mug you like to bring, because typically we're drinking hot beverages probably on the way to the campsite. These are nice and small so that they do actually fit sometimes into our camp box. But one thing you may not think about is bringing something for your kids to drink liquids out of that's not their personal water bottle. So we bring just 2 kind of plastic cups. They're never drinking such hot fluids that they're gonna melt this plastic out of, but to have their own little hot chocolate thing is really important. We might also upgrade to giving one of these style to each of the kids. This is the Ceta Summit lid and cup system with the little koozie. This is just nice because of the spill factor. It's sad when your hot chocolate gets spilled.
One thing I'd like to say about this mug from GSI is that it is a plastic cup inside of a little neoprene koozie as well, but 2 added benefits here. It's got graduated measurement amounts here for ounces, and I also like to use it for rehydrating things like ramen or couscous. You can take that hot water out of the pot, pour it into here with the food, and then cap it, and it makes a nice little rehydration pot.
The second item within this category is your water storage. So we all have our personal water bottles whenever we go camping, whenever we leave the house.
So for our water systems, when we're talking about refilling our personal water jugs, I really like a jerry can style water jug. It's refillable at home, it's refillable at gas stations. They're fantastic.
Okay, the next 2 items on our 10 essentials list fall into dishwashing system and trash system. So like cleaning up. You want to talk? I'm passing the mic to you when I do that.
So for dishwashing, having a tub, a sponge, and soap is really all you need. This is a nice little kind of in the sink tub that you can buy at Walmart or Target.
This
or
one
wherever.
obviously gets used in our yard now, so it's quite dirty and all messed up. The other 2 essentials in your dishwashing kit are your sponge, which we keep here. You might want to put it in a Ziploc bag because it will be wet.
And then a tiny little bottle of Dr. Bronner's.
And then the other one is trash bags. This is something that just gets forgotten all the time. It's quite simple, just having trash bags in your kit all the time. If you use the last one, making sure that you replenish that when you're back. Something that is small, but is really handy to have when you're out there because it's a pain when you forget your trash bags. Okay, the final item on your list of 10 essentials to pack when you're going car camping specifically is some sort of cooler.
So really, we've got 3 different coolers that we use when we're doing these car camping trips. This is probably a 20-year-old little small Coleman cooler.
It's a nice little tiny one. Doesn't keep things cold for too long.
Sometimes you don't need it to be cold that long and you just need something that's small, compact. This is that. Bought this. This is kind of a hybrid soft, hard cooler, Ozark Trail from Walmart. Honestly, it's not all that well made, but I would say that I prefer it sometimes because it can hold a lot of stuff with a hard plastic shell and then just a simple insulated fabric. So if we need to take a lot of food, but we're still fairly limited on space in the car, this is great.
The last one is the Bomber, the Yeti. This is the Roadie, right? Obviously keeps things cold for a really long time, but it's not high capacity.
It is so well insulated and so good on ice that it's pretty thick. It does really great when we're doing car camping trips in the Southwest.
It's also great for like a seat when you're at camp.
Or a step stool to climb up into the top box above our car.
Okay, so a couple of extra items that aren't in our 10 essentials list. One, just a fun thing to have is like a light or a lantern. And the other one is like how to actually bring your food.
A hard plastic tote is really the most ideal thing to bring food into the car, out of the car, to the picnic table, to the campsite, etc. This is a hard plastic tote from NRS, and it's a watertight with a seal here that can hold a lot of food for a long weekend.
If these 10 items are not easily accessible every time you go camping, it doesn't matter if you have 10 simple items at all. So our biggest takeaway for your car camping setup and any kind of camping systems that you have is to have it in one thing, in one bin and packed and ready to go.
Thanks for watching. If you've got any other tips on what you would want to pack, what you'd see different, let us know because we're always in for different insight.
Yeah. Thanks everybody.